We're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insight, new style, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bringing news just for you. It's Wednesday, November 12th here in Seoul. I'm Isujin, and this is News Generation. Joining us today is Ki.
Happy Hump Day!
Happy Hump Day, and also Fabius with us.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. And both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. So it's already Wednesday. We're officially halfway through the week. And as we push through this midweek slump, it's pretty normal to start thinking ahead, especially as we're also in the second to last month of the year. So there's a lot of things, deadlines, plans, or just wondering what the rest of the week will bring. And with the world changing so quickly, new technologies and global news that seems to move at lightning speed, it's easy to feel a little unsettled about what's coming next. So I'm a little curious. Ki, do you ever find yourself worrying about the future?
Constantly. Right now, I'm being in front of camera, but still, being freelancer for 20 years, I have unstable income, right? And especially we witnessed COVID, where we saw the plane is not flying, and because of that, I do a bit of a small investments here and there. The stock markets. I don't do coins, but then. I try to have the different saving accounts to make sure that it can be stable. So I worry all the time for the future, and I have a son, so I worry about his future because his future is unforeseeable because that's 20 years from now, 40 years from now. So yeah, I always worry.
I think it's hard not to worry.
Exactly.
So if you worry about something and it gets solved, there's also something else to worry about.
Exactly. There's no solution for anything.
What about you, Fabian?
I hate thinking about the future. It's so stress-inducing. There's so many anxieties about how life is going to turn out. And right now I'm reaching my mid-20s and I'm kind of wondering if I should strive for a very diverse lifestyle where I can test a lot of different things and maybe find new callings, or if I should just be stable and find a job that I want to dedicate my energy for the rest of my life.
There's a lot of things to think about in there as well.
Way too many.
So that tension is something a lot of young people feel these days, wanting to explore and try new things, but also feeling the pressure to build a stable career. It really highlights why having some kind of safety net is also important. So for more on what we'll be talking about today, let's take a look at the screen. Lifestyle trends among people in their 20s and 30s are changing faster than ever. The YOLO mindset, you only live once, has long reflected a desire to enjoy life to the fullest without worrying too much about the future. But here in Korea, a new lifestyle aesthetic is emerging. Known as the readycore generation, this group is taking a more planned and preemptive approach, carefully designing and preparing for life ahead. So today on News Generation, we're taking a closer look at this trend, what it really looks like, why it's capturing the rapidly evolving younger generation, and the pros and cons of this lifestyle. So as we just saw in the video, the readycore generation is taking a very different approach to life compared to previous trends. So rather than living purely for the moment, many young people are carefully planning their careers, finances, and personal goals to prepare for an uncertain future. So Ki, can you tell us more about this newest trend emerging here in Korea that goes beyond just daily productivity?
So a long time ago, this was even made into drama. We had 미생.
Oh, right.
And then in recent years, a trend known as 갓생, that literally means that God life has taken hold among young people. It describes a lifestyle of living each day to the fullest through discipline and purpose that's filled with the activities like exercising, studying, and reading after work. But now a new generation is taking a step further. So it's called the readycore generation, like as I mentioned in the video before. They're centered around people in their 20s and 30s, and this trend reflects a mindset that's focused on preparing for the future, not just living diligently every day, but after work, they're studying for certifications, pursuing side jobs, and managing their finances, all the while using their digital tools to plan, learn, and stay productive. And the numbers prove it. Among those in their 20s and 30s, the number of people earning advanced technical licenses has increased by 1.5 times compared to 4 years ago. So they're certainly getting ready for their future.
So it's interesting how this trend shows a more a move from daily productivity to long-term planning. That long-term planning clearly extends to concrete actions like studying for certifications and managing side hustles. So that also makes me curious, does this pursuit of building skills and credentials as a safety net as they prepare for future opportunities mean more young adults are staying longer in jobs even when they don't really want to, Fabian?
Well, you see, job hopping, changing jobs, has become a very widespread topic around the newer generations. And with US workers ranged 25 to 34 in 2024, they had a median tenure of only 2.7 years. However, after the pandemic, many have grown to choosing a more stable lifestyle and stopping that switching between jobs, which is now called job hugging, which is basically trying to keep your job together and not letting it go. So South Korean workers are a great example of this phenomenon. According to a research conducted by the Brain Trend Monitor this year, the shift in job-related attitudes has become more tangible than ever. As we can see in the graph right now, since 2023, job switching intentions among South Korean workers aged 19 to 59 have dropped by a total of 10%. More than 80% of respondents pointed out to global instability as some of the major reasons, with economic freedom and individualized career paths seeming a little bit impossible, and they don't really compensate the struggle. US media outlets such as CNN and the Wall Street Journal also have reported that workers in the US that used to change their jobs frequently for better opportunities are now choosing to stay in their current workplaces, even if they're unhappy. So in other words, this shift is pretty much spreading everywhere. So it's also driven largely by today's social and geopolitical climate. So there's a lot of difficulties taking place, and because of that, people are trying to keep it safe, I guess.
Right. So if you were in a job, then what kind of things would you be studying for, do you think?
I guess you really want to make sure that your everyday life and all of your choices are supported economically. So even if you want to explore different options or have fun in different ways, you still need that security. You don't really know how you're going to be dealing with your issues by the end of the month. And so because of that, even though if people don't really enjoy their job, they know that they can keep their hobbies or they can keep their friendships because that economic stability is going to let that happen. However, for some other reasons that have bigger, for some other people that have bigger passions, it might be a little bit of a struggle because they have to make that big decision.
Yeah, there's definitely a big shift because I remember before there used to be so many articles about how young people aren't staying in one job, but now they're kind of being forced to stay. So I guess people just want a sense of security. So even if that means staying in one job for longer than they want, and some are basically that they're not very completely happy about staying. So this is definitely a big shift that we are currently seeing, and it sounds like the stability itself has become a kind of luxury, and that's really understandable. So we were also curious about how our viewers feel about this too. So we asked on the Arirang News YouTube channel, what are you doing to prepare for the future? So here's what the results showed. According to data, more than half of young adults, about 57%, say they're focused on saving or investing as a way to prepare for the future. Around 17% are working toward new certifications or continuing their studies, while 16% say they're choosing job hugging, staying in their current positions for the sake of stability. The remaining 10% cite other approaches reflecting a wide range of strategies for navigating uncertainty. So I can totally see why saving feels more important than taking risks these days. The economy is just so unpredictable. A lot of people want to be prepared for whatever comes next. So that drive and ambition we saw with the cutting lifestyle that we just talked about, or the hustle culture, haven't gone away completely. People are just expressing it more carefully now in ways that feel safer and more realistic. So given this, what else do you think is driving these big lifestyle trend shifts, such as the readycore movement we've been seeing among young people?
Sure. At the core of this trend lies the prolonged economic slowdown, of course, and the growing uncertainty fueled by artificial intelligence. In such unpredictable times, being prepared has become both survival strategy and a form of self-defense for young people. And that's the same for the skilled person too, with a lot of experience. Their skills and experiences are being threatened by advanced technology, especially AI. I can be replaced too. So many of them are being replaced, and today's youth are the self-guided learning generation. They're used to setting their own goals and putting them into action, unlike older generations where they were told to do things Even the goals, basically what to do, even the projects they're assigned to do, they didn't decide what project they were going to work on. So the younger generation now want to minimize the countless risks and variables that life throws their way and to take full control of their own destiny. And the more uncertain the world becomes, the stronger their desire to stay in control.
So I get that. When everything feels unpredictable, you want to hold on to whatever control you can. But it's funny how just a few years ago, people responded to the same kind of uncertainty in almost the opposite way by living in the moment with YOLO or flex culture. So why do you think that shift happened, Fabio?
Well, for me, honestly, the YOLO movement was so inspirational, and I'm kind of sad that it's kind of fading away. But at the same time, it makes a lot of sense. So for me, it was very motivational to just, strive for different opportunities and trying different things. But at the same time, when you have these other friends that also hopped onto that trend, and suddenly one of them starts paying the down payment for their house, another one starts building their own family, and another one is preparing for their pension, you start to realize that a lot of people are actually valuing that stability. And so you kind of think to yourself, should I be doing the same thing? Because when we think about our parents or our grandparents, they have a different generation and they have a different culture and life that they have lived. And most of them strive for stability by buying a house or starting a family, which are things that are not that easy nowadays. So nowadays to get an apartment is quite difficult and expensive, and a lot of people don't really have the trust in their work relationships and even love relationships to start a family or even have kids. So because of that, YOLO and flex culture were very justified in their time because of the long-term recession and the crisis that led them to happen. But at the same time, nowadays, there's a lot of skepticism and people are very cynical. So they don't really let YOLO lead their life because YOLO is not really going to pay the rent at the end of the month.
So that's kind of like the reality. So it's interesting
Exactly,
how the same
yes.
economic pressures that created YOLO and flex culture are now fueling a more cautious, prepared mindset. But I can totally see why people's response to that is different. At first, enjoying the moment feels like the only way to cope, but over time, it does start to feel a bit unsustainable. So the reality hits us all at one point or another, basically. So to learn more about the emergence of the readycore trend here in Korea, we're going to talk to a counselor, and that conversation will take place right after the break, so don't go anywhere.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search out channel Arirang News. Click Posts and cast your vote in the poll. Make a new type of news with us.
Joining us today is Christy, a counselor here in Seoul. Hi, Christy. Thank you so much for connecting with us today.
Hello.
So what are the main reasons behind the rise of trends such as readycore and job hugging, both here in Korea and abroad?
From a societal perspective, people today are greatly influenced by economic uncertainty. The global economy has become unpredictable, like you guys mentioned, making people prepare in advance and cling to jobs that appear stable. The greater the uncertainty, the stronger the anxiety people would experience. And naturally, people tend to hold on to whatever provides a sense of security. One of the main reasons behind the readycore trend is anxiety. Anxiety is the anticipation of a future threat. And in this context, that threats may stem from economic instability. It may take the form of sudden layoffs, shrinking job opportunities, and declining employment rates. The sense of insecurity drives individuals to proactively develop their skills and prepare for an unpredictable future. At the same time, many workers are job hogging because they feel job hopping is more risky and it increases uncertainty. So remaining in their jobs would offer predictability, safety, and a sense of control. As the career expert Vicky Salini from Monster mentioned, job security and stability have become emotional safety nets. I agree with this statement as it captures the desire to regain a sense of safety and control in a rapidly changing and uncertain world.
So, like you said, the world is changing so quick, but why are lifestyle and career trends among young people are changing so fast?
I think in general, because modern society is driven by fast-paced technology and the internet, the younger generation has also become accustomed to speed and constant change. Young people today are far more adaptable and receptive to development compared to older generations. Having grown up in the digital era with smartphones, social media, and now the rapid advancement of AI within just a few years, change has become their new default setting. They're more open to transitions and do not perceive change as a high risk decision. Instead, remaining in one place or sticking to a single career path can feel stagnant or like falling behind. And so a lot of MDs use the term fear of missing out, and they might experience this when they're not proactively changing and developing their careers. Also, MZs, especially in South Korea, they have different core values compared to the older generation. The previous generation devoted themselves to the organization's success and progress, which is more of a collective value. But now MZs are more oriented to their personal values of ensuring work-life balance, having higher income, and enhancing self-development. And research consistently shows that MZ employees actively move in search of organizations that align with their personal values and promote their self-development. And so for the young generation, going with the flow of change may be a necessity for them to adapt in this modern society.
With so many young people feeling anxious about the future, what can they do to ease that feel or that worry?
I have a lot to suggest, and I'll mention three ways to ease their future anxiety. They are specify your anxiety. Second, find your anchor and create your own narrative. So first, anxiety is often generalized and ambiguous. And so the first step is to answer the question, what am I specifically worried about? Instead of generally saying, I'm worried about my career or job hugging, start asking, am I worried about stagnation? Or am I worried about financial development, not earning enough? Simply naming the specific content lessens the intensity of your anxiety because your brain shifts from a threat mode to a problem solving mode. And second, my suggestion would be find your anchor. Since many workers are trying to find stability in the workplace, I would suggest find stability in other areas of your life. In this ever changing society, what is your constant? For many people, people find comfort and stability in relationships, whether that's your family, friends, or loved ones. And people who are there for you in the midst of many changes in the society will give you emotional stability and support. And it doesn't necessarily have to be people. It could be creating stability in your routine, having daily routines such as journaling, meditating, if you have a religion, praying will help, going out for exercise. And so the goal is to identify and cultivate things that are reliable, predictable, and sustaining, and so that they will be psychological anchors when your career or environment feels uncertain. And lastly, don't let societal change drive you. Create your own narrative instead. What I mean by this is that when you find yourself job hugging or staying in a readycore state, ask yourself why you are doing so. Are you making these choices out of your own will, or are you simply reacting to the pressure and pace of society? It's easy to be swept by societal expectations that tell you to always improve, learn, and stay ready for the next big thing. But readiness without reflection can lead to burnout, anxiety, and a sense of emptiness. So it's important to understand what those changes mean to you personally. Ask yourself questions like, what kind of future do I want to create and live? Am I acting out of fear or out of purpose? And when you intentionally shape your own story rather than being shaped by the fast moving current of society, you begin to find peace amid the uncertainty. So think about what you are rooted in, because acting from that inner foundation gives you a deeper sense of stability and direction.
Right, someone who also constantly battles anxiety, I will be looking for my anchor and I will be also reflecting. So thank you so much for joining us and for the advice today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So we just talked to a counselor about the stress and uncertainty many young people are feeling these days and how they can best manage this anxiety. But like any lifestyle trend, there are likely both pros and cons to this readycore movement. So can you first of all tell us the positive aspects of this trend?
Well, Chrissy just gave us the concrete, clear answer. So the mindset of getting ready also helps ease their anxiety about the future because you're getting ready. So for any generation, worrying less definitely helps, and any getting ready for the future always wouldn't hurt. So unlike the flex or YOLO lifestyle that focus on living for this moment, the new attitude is far more realistic and grounded. It's all about building stability, and young people are finding a stronger sense of self-efficacy and confidence in shaping their own lives. So I think that's a better way to protect your anxiety.
So it seems like the readycore mindset gives young people a sense of control and confidence, helping reduce anxiety about the future because they're able to plan ahead and enjoy stability. So this can be empowering in the long term, especially compared to trends like YOLO or flex culture, which is likely to feel great only in that moment. So at the same time though, I can see how prioritizing safety too much might make people avoid challenges or take fewer risks, which could limit growth. So Fabio, what would you say are the cons of this readycore trend?
Well, it's such a conflicting situation because we are reminded all the time about how important it is to live every single moment and how we have to make the most out of life for ourselves. I, for example, really believe that you only live once, and at the same time, I have a lot of FOMO, fear of missing out. And that's because I never know when I'm going to find my new calling. Maybe I want to develop new aptitudes, or maybe this is just not for me. And all this time, I have been blinded by my reality, and I couldn't even discover that there's other realities that I would really enjoy. And so in that scope, in that same realm, we also have to support that lifestyle and support those choices. And so because of that, as much as we get super ready, that getting ready process takes a long time. That discovering process also takes a long time. And the stabilizing process also takes a long time. So time is so precious that we really have to invest it in the thing that really matters the most, but sometimes it's hard to choose because everything matters.
Everything feels so important too.
Yes.
So before we wrap up, what would you say to young people who are feeling anxious or uncertain about the future right now? So any words of encouragement, Keith?
Yes, from Uncle Keith for younger generation. For early 20s, like what Fabio said earlier in the show, try to experience as many things as you can, more classes, more part-time jobs, and of course more hanging out with your friends and more dating even. Every second now, it counts. So just don't sit down there and try to move. And it's okay to fall. Thing is that you need to learn from it. I remember from a famous lecture once that I saw, all of you and all of us here know how to walk, literally walk. And before we were able to walk, we were crawling. And we fell more than 2,000 times when we were a baby, right? But here we are, we stand, we walk. So even if you fall, you can pick up from there. And but remember, you must learn from your failure, and also you have to respond for your action, because when you're 20, you're an adult. You know, your parents can't be responsible for all of your actions. So, you know, there.
I love this actually. So Fabio, do you have anything to add?
Well, time is delicate, so make the most out of it, and also look back at your life with no regrets. So if you think about your future self, think about how that future self would make a decision right now. And also at the same time, you know, kind of realize that sometimes your actions might be things that you don't really click with. I realized that I started zoning out a lot on my phone, and maybe that time could be invested in things that actually make me happy and make me feel productive. So even if those are like hobbies or work-related stuff, I might have to make a decision in the future.
So in uncertain times, it's only natural for young people to want stability and control. From YOLO to readycore lifestyle trends may change and new ones may emerge, but they all come down to one thing: how people cope with uncertainty and anxiety. The rise of the readycore generation shows that the desire for control is shaping everything from careers to daily habits. But as our panelists reminded us today, being prepared is important as long as we don't let this pursuit of security keep us from taking risks. And so, like he also aptly pointed out, we all stand and walk through life, so don't be afraid to fall down a few times. Getting back up is often easier than you think. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of News Generation, but News Gen will be back tomorrow with more stories and discussions. A big thanks to Key.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. Also Fabio.
I'll be thinking about my future.
Me as well. And to our viewers, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you have the best day. We are News Generation.